So I'm trying something new for this video. Usually in the craft room where you see me videoing, my husband's out front working on the front deck, so it's kind of noisy. So I found trying to get my tripod set up. Found my, well, I didn't find it. I got it from my daughter. A camera that I've had. It was one of the first that I used. Well, probably the second one when I was doing photography. So I'm gonna try and get this set up on this tripod. I haven't used it in ages. So let's see how it goes. Well, that was a big fat fail. All right, so I'm back to recording on my phone. I tried to record on my camera. It's a Canon 70D, and the audio was just bad. So hopefully I can invest in a mic and record from my camera. So today, welcome. My name is Marsha with Mimi Makes Keepsakes, and I'm happy that you're here. Yes, the location is different. I usually video in the front part of the house in my craft room area, but my husband's working on the front deck. It is sunny and nice outside, so I'm getting some natural light in the bedroom, which is just beautiful. So my knitting journey all started with this little Fern the Frog, and I do have a video out about Fern the Frog, how she started me on my knitting journey. And look at these little shoes. They are adorable. So this little lady got me started on my knitting journey. I think I'll set her up here. Oh, she's about to lose a shoe. I have another frog that I'm working on. I'm crocheting. And I used a different pattern for the legs, and his legs is really long. But I haven't finished that project yet. I started before we left to go to Jacksonville, Florida. All right, we'll put it right there. So my knitting journey, if you've been following my Instagram, I would put my link down below. I've been showing little swatches that I made, but I did finish this sweet little cat. I can't believe I did this. Well, I worked hard for this. I would start knitting, and I think I got it, then I don't have it, and then I lose a stitch, and I rip it out, and I start all over. This, I'm like, I'm not starting over. I am just gonna go with it. So there's the seam of the back, and this included, let me tell you what I learned. The stockinette stitch, and that's basically the knit stitch and the purl. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, right? I learned that. I learned how to increase and how to decrease. I've learned that. So I'm, you know what? I'm not ripping it out. I'm just going to go with it. And I thought he was so cute, and I'm so happy. Basically it's a square, and you're just doing a square. You do some increases and decreases, and then you sew them up. I'm learning that a lot, probably 98% of knitting is stitching and sewing your pieces together. I may be wrong. I'm just a beginner. How many years ago? Ooh, time goes by so fast. I don't know, maybe about 7 years ago, 5 years ago? I can't remember. I'm so bad with dates. I have to call my daughter and say, hey, when's so-and-so's birthday? But I tried to learn to knit and crochet at the same time. Crochet stuck. So with knitting, I learned cast on, just the knit stitch. I didn't know anything about the purl. I'm like, I'm just gonna learn how to knit. And how to cast off. Neither one I could do very well, but crochet is what stuck. But I wanted to learn how to knit because of this little frog. But I did complete the cat. I so wanted to complete an item, and I did. So I'm going along I'm kind of following along the theory of a YouTuber that I found and started watching. You've probably seen her before, Jenna Phipps, I believe. I'll leave her link down below. She is adorable and it's so much fun to watch. And she's like, how she learned to knit. She just got a pattern and she followed it. If she didn't know the terms, she looked up the terms. If she didn't know how to stitch, she would use the stitch and learn the stitch as she goes. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been doing these little square swatches. I did repeat these several times until I could get maybe one kind of without any holes. But then I'm like, I want to make something. I don't want to do a scarf. It's just, it would take me forever. And I think I would get bored really fast. So I want to do animals. So look at that. Isn't that cute? So that's my knit stitch on the front. And then on the back is the little purl stitch because of the little bumps. And I'm just so proud of these little squares. But I want to turn it into something. So I found a pattern on the YouTube. And you can sew it up and make a fish. So I just sewed the eyes on. I tried to video and show you how I sewed the eyes on because that's one of the skills that my sweet mama taught me when I was younger, still lived at home, was how to sew on buttons. But this isn't a very good example, not a very good project to show you how to sew on buttons. But isn't that cute? So I think maybe if you didn't have the buttons, you could stuff it with some catnip. And I think this would make an adorable cat toy. I know my dingy cat would love it. And so I have a video about the beanies. I've been making beanies. I was on a beanie kick. I've kind of calmed down from making beanies. This is a beanie that my very talented sweet daughter-in-law gave me a couple years ago. She knits. She's a wonderful knitter. She does all these stitches and shows them on her page. And I'm like, how in the world does she do that? I don't know. But anyway, back to the beanies. I use I forgot what type of yarn I use for my beanies. You have to watch my beanie video. But this is leftover yarn from my beanies. I made another fish. Oh, I got some thread. Made another fish from a square, and I'll link that video on there, how to make this sweet little fish. But I choose not to go with safety eyes. I just try to embroider an eye on this fish, but I thought he was cute. I think it would make a great cat toy. And of course, I think this little fish is cute too. Kind of reminds me of Rainbow Fish. That was one of my daughter's favorite books. She always checked it out at the library. It's Rainbow Fish. And then my cat. But I am working on a project at the moment. Let me see if I can get it without losing any stitches. That's like my biggest fear. I see people, it is like a straight up fear. I see people knit. I'm watching tutorials, right, with people knitting, and they're going along and they have their stitches like right up here, just working them. They have their loops right up here. And I'm like about to have a heart attack because I'm thinking, it's going to come off. It's going to come off. You got to catch it. It's coming off. They're pros. I am not. But I am working on something else. And I will show you once it's completed. Yeah, so this one I used a little bit smaller needles for worsted weight yarn. This isn't the best yarn, I think, to work with because it tends to want to split. And you'll get these little fibers that get left behind. But it's what I have. I don't want to use up a better skein right now because I may want to use it for a legit crochet project. But I am working on something right now. And these are circular needles I got from their Clover that I got from Joann's. when we were in Jacksonville, Florida. Y'all, I walked into that Joann's and all one side of the store was nothing but sewing. Oh my goodness. It just like, I want to sew. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to sew everything. If I live close by, oh my goodness, anything that you can think of that you needed to sew, they had it. One side of the store, from back to front, full of material, machines, notions. Oh, I just loved it. I kept telling my husband, look at all of this sewing stuff. So tempted to get another sewing machine. But like I said in my previous video, I think I'm going to try and get the one that I have going. But this is another project that I'm working on. It's worsted weight. And my clover bamboo needles, I think they're a 4mm. Usually with the worsted weight, it calls for a 5mm crochet hook. And I don't know yet. I've been trying to research if it's the same with crochet, if I can take a 4mm, not 4mm, a 4 worsted weight yarn and a smaller hook, my stitches will be smaller. And I'm thinking that may be true with knitting. Don't take my word for it. I'm not an expert by no means. But I think with a smaller needle and a thicker yarn, you get a tighter weave, I guess is what you call it, or stitches. And I don't know, so this is a little bit smaller than what I used for the cat. With the cat, I used, I think, a 6mm knitting needle. And this was with worsted weight yarn too. This is the Premier worsted yarn that I got from Dollar Tree. I have several basketfuls and I want to use it on the knitting projects. But like I said, I use it for my crochet amigurumi projects too. But I don't want to like use up all of it like in case I mess up. Also, this little swatch and this little fish is made from the I Love This Cotton. And this really knits really well. I like the way it doesn't seem to split like the worsted weight yarn does that I got from the Premier Dollar Tree. But it's just the way that the fibers are. Sometimes they just split. And these points are really pointy. So I don't know if you can see. Oh, let me show you. So they're very pointy. So that they will naturally split the yarn if you don't get up under it just right. Now, I don't like these cables so much. They tend to get in the way. But I know a lot of knitters talk about they love them. And then also what I've learned is like you do the stocking knit stitch and you do a knit stitch and a purl stitch. And then it's like I get to talking and I'm like, well, where am I at? What stitch do I need to do next? What did I just finish? And I'm learning to read the stitches. So this is my knit stitch. So I know my next stitch will be the knit stitch. I believe I'm saying that right. If I ended on this side, I know my next stitch would be purl stitch. I believe I'm saying that right. I think I've learned that right. And then we talk about English and continental knitting. I did not know that was a thing. So the English needle, you just knit, you just throw it over and pull it off. And it seems like I have to relearn. You have to just catch that just right. And I don't even know if I'm doing it right. And throw it over and pull it off. And then there's the continental stitch. Please don't do what I'm doing. You're probably screaming, girl, you are doing it all wrong. Do not use this as a knitting tutorial. But with the continental stitch, I think I have it. And then it's like I have to relearn it all over again. Oh, see? Oh, man, I just slipped a stitch. So even though, okay, I realize I may be a little slow at it. And sometimes I think I have it. Sometimes I think I don't have it. I have to refigure out how I'm going to hold my needles, my yarn. I'm enjoying it still. I enjoy learning and creating something that looks totally different. To me, the knitted animal, amigurumi animals, they just have this, I don't know, it's more of a vintage, I don't know. It's just a different look. Now, will I do garments? I don't know. Will I do blankets? I don't know. It just depends. Now see, it starts getting on the edge. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to lose it. So I pushed it back down. And I know there's probably some of y'all screaming at me, no, you got to put it on the tips. But I can't because, well, not right now. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my stitch. So I'm down to my last one. Let's see if I can catch it. Okay. And I know you knitters out there probably thought that's so painful to watch her do that. So I just finished a row of the knit stitch for the project that I'm making. I wonder if that's going to put me off on my pattern. Oh well, I'm not redoing it. It's staying on there. But this has been quite a journey. I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed learning. I know it's good for your old noggin to learn new things. But I also, when I went to Joann's, I had some birthday money and I got this case. This is right here to put it's the Big Twist storage. Oh y'all, my hair is everywhere. The Big Twist storage, yarn tools, organizer, roll case. Holds both hooks and needles. And I got it just to put my hooks in. Look at this. I don't have a whole lot. And so I know Clover brand crochet hooks I love. So I got the Clover brand crochet needles. Knitting needles. Yeah, this is a 6mm that I used for my cat. These are, what are these? 6.5. So I went right after Christmas, so the stock was not very plentiful, but I got some things I thought I could start with. So these are the circular needles that I'm using. They're 4.0 and they also have like the number on it, like number 10.5, number 6. Just tell me what millimeter they're in. I don't, too many numbers gets like confusing. These are 5.5mm crochet hooks. Now I could use that with the worsted weight yarn. I think that would work. Because most of the number 4 worsted weight yarn requires for a 5mm hook or needle. And these are I thought they were Likey, but I believe it was Kimberly, Knit for Brains, said they're pronounced Luca. And if you haven't checked out Kimberly with Knit for Brains, go check her out. She's fun to hang out with. And she's picking back up knitting also. So you could go there and get some tips and tricks from her and just to see what she's doing. But I did order these from Etsy. I have a 3.5mm crochet hook. I have a 2.75mm crochet hook, 3.25mm Luca knitting needles. Did I say crochet hook? Y'all, I told y'all sometimes I blend my words together. I don't know. So these I got from Etsy. These knitting needles I got from Etsy. They're made out of driftwood. They're straight needles. And I think these will work great for maybe DK yarn. And this is where I got them from. I think I've already showed all that to y'all in one of my videos with Fern the Frog. And I got those. And also I have these. I have no idea what size these are. I got these when I first started learning to crochet. I mean, not crochet, knit. And not sure what size they are. My husband did make me a card made out of wood that has the different millimeters. You can put your hooks or your needles in. It tells you what size they are. So I'm gonna have to put that to use. So I have no idea what brand this is or what size they are, but I found these in my craft room. I have some other knitting needles too. They're like the long metal needles, and I think one of the reasons I got turned off with knitting is because they would like poke me, and it was just awkward. But I think with the shorter ones, it's going to be easier to work with. If I can just like move this cable out of my way from time to time. But like I said, I do not know what brand these are. I don't remember if I've ever used them on anything. I don't know. Let me see if I can stick this back in there. Okay, I'm not going to make you watch me stick this back in there. But yeah, I think this was a pretty good investment. It wasn't that much. It was at Joann's. I got it at Joann's. And, okay, that's going to drive me crazy, but we're just going to call it good. We're just going to set it over here. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay. So in another part of my crochet journey, I went to the library last weekend with my grandchildren. They love our library. We have a great local library. And I checked out this book. It's actually on my Amazon wish list. But when I found it at the library, I was so excited. Also, Cindy at the Roomy Mill, she purchased this book. And she's starting a knitting journey too. Y'all, this is so much fun. This yarny community of mine. I'm enjoying to see we're like learning a new skill together. It's just great. I think she's similar to me. She knew how to do some things, but she wants to learn to do more. With this book, it has a lot of information. Probably more than what I need to start out with, but they go through and telling you about the yarn. That's really good. The different yarn sizes, zero lace, fingering, fine, lightweight, medium, bulky, super bulky, or jumbo. And a lot of times I know, when I first started crocheting, somebody's like, oh, I use the DK weight. Okay, so when you go shop for yarn, you look for DK weight. Well, here there's a little chart. It tells you right there. Can you see? It tells you a number 3 lightweight, DK or light worsted weight. That's good information to have. It's kind of like crochet hooks. They have letters and they have numbers. Just give me the millimeters. That's all I need to know. But I know some people like the letters. What letter is it? We're all different. We all learn different. You know what? And that's perfectly fine. Number 4 is a worsted weight, is a medium yarn. It may be called worsted, Afghan, or Aran. Did y'all know that? Who knew? If you're a beginner crocheter or knitter, you know, it takes a while to figure this stuff out. And number 2 is called a sport weight. Did you know that? It's a fine, sport weight, or baby. I didn't know that. I did not know that. A number 1 is a sock, fingering, or baby weight. It's a super fine. So I may end up purchasing this book because this is good information to refer back to. But then it's showing you how to hold the yarn in your needle. There's the English method and the continental method. I'm very visual, so it helps me to start out with a video. When I first started learning to crochet, I used video. I would try to look at pictures and read, and it would just get jumbled because that's not the way I learn. I'm very visual. I rather watch somebody do it, and then usually I have it 9 times out of 10. But this has shown you how to hold your basic pearls, how to do your basic pearl stitch. Now this might be good, you know, once you watch the video, and I think this would work now after I watched the video on how to do the pearl stitch. I had to learn that. I had no idea how to do that. It shows you how to hold it English and continental, and it kind of slows it down, because sometimes am I putting my hook am I putting my needle in the right space between the other needle and the yarn? You know, sometimes I think I have it, and I go around and I keep doing it, and I'm like, I'm doing it totally different than what they just showed. So I think this would be good for me to reference back to from time to time, and just to make sure, hey, am I doing it right to begin with? But they do have the basic knit, the garter stitch, the stocking knit stitch, reverse stocking knit stitch. So this is full of information. So this might be a book that I will purchase. Oh, it shows you how to do the seaming. Yeah, since like I feel like that 95% of knitting is seaming your work together. And I think getting those good seams in the end would be when I can get like where I halfway know what I'm doing. Then they have to do circular designs. Just so much information. But I also found another book at the library, and I found it. I was just giddy. I checked it out. It is, and I'm going to put this on my Amazon wish list if I haven't already. It's the Knitting Stitches Visual Encyclopedia. See that? Visual. That's for this old noggin. Visual. 350 stitch patterns, edgings, and more. Yes. So right from the start, I open it up and there's pictures. I love pictures. It has the table of contents, chapter 9, chapter 10 chapters. Love it. And let me show you. First, open it up. Look at there. And it's not jumbled together. It's just it's spaced out where you can see what you need to see, know what you need to know. The garter stitch, row 1, knit. Repeat row 1 for garter stitch. Who knew? I didn't know what the garter stitch was. It's just doing the knit stitch, back and forth, back and forth. You get the garter stitch. Stocking knit stitch. You want to know how to do that? You cast on, you knit, you purl. Row 1s and 2. Repeat. So you knit on one side, purl on the other. That's your stocking knit stitch. I did not know that until I started learning to crochet. So this book, I think I would enjoy, because I can make little squares, and I can do a fish and a garter stitch stripe. I can do a fish and a reverse stocking knit stitch. Did you know what a garter stitch stripe is? Look how pretty that is. It is knit, purl, knit. And I learned that RS is right side, WS is wrong side. So the purl will be the wrong side. I'm like, what is this RS and WS? I have no idea. But it goes all the way through. Let me find something. I know y'all probably saying, we know this. We've been doing it forever and ever and ever and ever. But then it goes all the way through. You have a big herringbone stitch, a slip zigzag stitch. Now, you gotta be really good for this, because it's got some abbreviations that I am not sure what they are. K2. Okay, so I'm thinking that's knit. Knit 2. SL3. I don't know. WYIF. I'm not going to say it because it would sound ugly. Another abbreviation that starts with W. But I don't know what that means, so I have to go through the glossary and look. W-Y-I-F. I don't know. K2, knit 2. Then 3, W-Y-I-F. Don't know what that means. But you know what? Even though I don't know, I'm willing to learn it. And I think I really want to get this book. But I'll have to go Google if they don't have a glossary of what these WYIB, I don't know. I would have to Google it or look it up or look on the YouTube and see if someone can show me how to do that stitch. And once again, I appreciate all you content creators that put stuff out there for us. Ooh, that was pretty. Ooh, a rosemary stitch. That's so pretty. Okay, let's see what the very last stitch was in this book. It's like, and you know what? My daughter-in-law, she does these amazing, the cable stitch. She does all of this, and she does beautiful work, and it looks so hard. So we're in the cable stitches. They have a chapter on cable stitching. The cable stitch. Then the drop stitch, yarn over eyelet and lace. That looks pretty. The mesh pattern, the lace rib and train tracks. That looks really pretty. Okay, so we go along with the acronyms again. Oh, K2 TOG. So I'm thinking it's knit 2 together. I can do that. YO. Maybe it's yarn over. I don't know. But I'm not stressed out about it because then they have the color knitting. Ooh, that's always so pretty. I admire all you that can crochet and knit patterns like that. That's a skill that's like up here. And I just think you are awesome. The mosaic crochet. I want to learn it. I don't know if I'm gonna have the patience for it. But you know what? I shouldn't say that. I should stay positive about it. As I tell my girls, look, you have the ability to do anything that you put your mind to. And I know it's going to be hard. Things are going to be hard, but that's the reason why you shouldn't learn, whether it's going back to school, starting a new career. And the best advice that my husband gives is if it was easy, everybody would do it. And, oh, look, I found look. Yes, this would be like the knitting BIBLE for me. The BIBLE. So I definitely think I am going to get this book. And I think I may get the Knitting Vogue book also because they have tools in there. And I'm like, I've seen these tools before, these notions, but I have no idea what they're used for. And also, I thought they had a section on cast on. There's like 101 ways to cast on. I had no idea. I just do my little thumb loop cast on. I think it's long tail. I don't know. But I'm learning. And I appreciate you coming along this journey with me. Oh my goodness. I'm determined to get where I can do some of the cute little creatures on Dot Pebble Knits this year. Maybe not, but we'll see how long I stick with it. Hopefully I can stick with it and do something. But I did a cat, and I may make 100 more cats. But anyway, I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me. Hope I didn't ramble too much. But how are y'all doing it? Is everybody staying warm? I hope you're staying warm and taking care. But I think that's all I have to say. I just wanted to get on and share this this crazy knitting process that I am doing. I appreciate you hanging out with me. yeah. All right, you guys. I appreciate hanging out with you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, y'all.